Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Maher, and I'll be doing my book presentation on Joanna Cole's How I Was Adopted, illustrated by Maxie Chambliss. I actually picked this book because I have 4 adopted siblings, so I was interested to see how Cole would represent the process of adoption, and especially it coming from a child's perspective. And I was actually really pleased with how she did it, and decided after reading that this would probably fall well under contemporary realistic fiction, mainly because it's obviously it's an honest presentation of adoption and that process. Honest to the point that some of the word choice that she uses is obviously very realistic and factual, but something that you don't usually come across in a children's book. Like this example, she talks about the main girl, the one who is adopted, Sam. It comes from her perspective, and she talks about how her dad taught her that before she was born, she was in a woman's body growing in a place called her uterus. So obviously something that you don't come across very often in a children's book, but very candid, and making this the only reason that it's fictional is really just because it's not Joanna Cole's actual story. It's just how she's representing adoption being told from a fictional character. So because it is a picture book, it's important to note the illustrations as well. I noticed that this illustrator, Maxie Chambliss, uses a lot of white space. All of the text you'll see in this book is backed with white space, which makes it easy for the reader and not as overstimulating for especially a child reader. But even when, like, the carpet you see here is kind of a tan brown color, and even in this case it kind of fades to white before the text appears, so obviously very purposeful, giving the text good contrast. There's a lot of bright colors in this book. You don't really see any dark colors because it is a very hopeful topic, something else that falls under contemporary realistic fiction. But you see how she's smart to cut off her illustrations and just back them with white so that the reader, most likely going to be a child, but they focus on what's actually happening, the events at present, rather than any excess information or illustration. And everything is very, I guess she gives good perspective. Like, everything seems very straight, and although they're kind of cartoonish characters for the most part, things that follow logical 3D. And you can see a lot of the white space here. I just thought that was really well done. As far as the story goes, Sam, this adopted child, is basically just sharing her experience, always referring to her mother and her father, her adopted mother and father, as mommy and daddy, and then referring to her birth mother as just a woman, which in most cases of closed adoption is a very realistic thing to do. But it talks about how they meet with an adoption agent, and when they get the call, how happy they were, and knowing my siblings' stories, and all of them were closed adoptions when they were infants, it seemed very true to story, and was really heartwarming and well done. But it's something that I would actually recommend to anyone, just so that they would understand adoption better, and how it's not this skeleton in the closet topic, but it's something that parents are normally very open with their adopted children about, and yeah, to me it just seemed very honest. It was a good presentation of what adoption is, and followed the genre of both picture book and contemporary realistic fiction very well. But thanks for listening.